Most people think attraction is just about a spark or a good conversation, but the reality is much more raw and calculated. When you look at the data, a staggering 97% of women admit that a man's performance in the bedroom is a deciding factor when choosing a long term partner. This isn't just a shallow preference or a bonus feature in a relationship. It is a fundamental biological standard. From an evolutionary standpoint, physical compatibility acts as a litmus test for chemistry and health. If that connection is missing, the foundation of the relationship often struggles to hold weight because intimacy is the glue that separates a romantic partnership from a simple friendship. To understand why this is so critical, you have to look at what is actually happening inside a woman's body during moments of peak desire. It's not just a mood, it's a total systemic takeover. When a woman becomes truly aroused, her body undergoes a massive physiological transformation that is nearly impossible to fake. Her internal body temperature spikes well beyond its normal resting state, and her heart rate can surge by as much as 60%. This is the equivalent of a high intensity cardio workout happening in a matter of minutes. Her blood flow shifts, her breathing patterns change, and her nervous system enters a state of hyperdrive. Because the female body goes through such an intense physical event, it naturally demands a partner who can match that energy and intensity. This is where the concept of survival of the best comes into play. If a man cannot navigate this high intensity physiological landscape, the disconnect becomes obvious very quickly. It's about more than just finishing. It's about being present and capable during a window of time where her body is operating at its maximum capacity. When a man understands how to handle this surge in her heart rate and temperature, he isn't just a partner anymore. He becomes a necessity. Ultimately, this is why the stakes are so high. A woman's body is designed to seek out a partner who doesn't just show up, but someone who can actually keep up with the physical demands of her own biology. If you can't manage the 60% heart rate increase or the spike in intensity, you're essentially failing a test that her body is subconsciously grading. To be part of that elite group of men that women prioritize for the long haul, you have to move past the basics and understand that you are participating in a high stakes biological performance. It's direct, it's intense, and it's the primary reason why bedroom performance is the ultimate tiebreaker in the dating world. To truly elevate an experience from standard to extraordinary, you have to stop guessing and start looking at the actual chemistry of attraction. It begins with what you consume, and the science here is undeniable. Psychological studies have consistently shown that something as simple as dark chocolate can act as a powerful catalyst for intimacy. This isn't just a myth. Dark chocolate contains specific compounds like phenylethylamine and tryptophan, which trigger a significant release of dopamine in the brain. This is the feel good hormone, the same chemical responsible for the rush of early love and excitement. By consuming it before things get physical, you are essentially preloading the brain for pleasure, lowering inhibitions, and heightening sensory awareness before a single touch even occurs. However, internal chemistry is only half the battle. The other half is a technical understanding of the body. If you want to be a game changer in the bedroom, you have to move past the vague ideas most people have and focus on the hard facts of female anatomy. For the vast majority of women, the most reliable and direct path to a climax isn't through traditional methods, but through the consistent, focused stimulation of the clitoral area. This is an area with thousands of nerve endings designed specifically for pleasure, yet it is often overlooked or treated as an afterthought. Mastering the art of simple, intentional friction in this specific zone changes the entire dynamic of the encounter. It moves the experience away from a hopeful outcome and toward a guaranteed success. The difference between an average partner and one who is genuinely unforgettable lies entirely in these small, deliberate details. Most men settle for the basics, but the elite few understand that mastery is about precision. It's about knowing that a slight shift in movement or a specific choice in what you eat can amplify her physical response by tenfold. When you combine the biological hack of dopamine boosting foods with a high level technical knowledge of how her body actually functions, you create a feedback loop of intensity. You aren't just going through the motions anymore, you are actively steering the physiological experience. This direct approach removes the guesswork and replaces it with a level of confidence and competence that is incredibly rare and highly valued. It is time to have a serious, direct conversation about the myths that have clouded our understanding of intimacy for far too long. We have to start by completely dismantling the outdated stigma surrounding natural bodily functions, specifically when it comes to female ejaculation or squirting. For years, misinformation has caused unnecessary confusion or even embarrassment, but the science is clear. This is a perfectly healthy, normal, and natural physical release. It is not a sign of impurity, it is not something to be cleaned up in shame, and it certainly isn't an anomaly. In reality, it is a biological peak, a sign that the body is reacting at its highest level of intensity. When you stop viewing these moments through a lens of judgment and start seeing them as a celebration of a woman's peak physiological response, the connection becomes deeper and far more authentic. Understanding this doesn't just make you a better partner, it makes you a more educated and mature one. Moving beyond the physical, we also need to debunk the myth that intimacy requires a perfect, candlelit bedroom setting to be meaningful or intense. If you look at the actual habits of people in the real world, the data tells a very different and much more interesting story. In America, for example, the majority of sexual encounters don't actually happen within the quiet, controlled confines of a bedroom. They happen inside cars. This might seem surprising at first, but it reveals a powerful truth about human desire. Spontaneity and the thrill of the moment often outweigh the need for a fancy environment. There is something about the anytime, anywhere mentality that taps into a more primal, urgent form of attraction. This shift in location proves that the environment is secondary to the energy between two people. Whether it's a parked car or a quick moment of stolen time, the lack of a formal setting often removes the pressure of performance and replaces it with raw excitement. It shows that people value the rush of the unexpected over the routine of a traditional setup. When you realize that intimacy is driven by chemistry and opportunity rather than expensive sheets or a king sized bed, you start to see the world differently. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it wherever you are. By embracing both the natural functions of the body and the spontaneous habits of real life, you break free from the rules that keep most people's experiences average and boring. It's about being real, being direct, and understanding that the best moments are usually the ones that are unscripted and unashamed. Now that you have the truth about what really drives attraction and physical connection, it's time to take action. If these insights have opened your eyes or challenged the way you think about intimacy, then you owe it to yourself and your inner circle to acknowledge it. Information this direct is rare, and if you found it valuable, the simplest way to support this level of transparency is to hit that like button right now. By doing so, you aren't just liking a video, you're telling the algorithm that real, unfiltered facts about human biology and psychology matter. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself either. If you have a friend who is struggling to navigate the dating world or a partner who needs to hear the truth about how the female body actually works, share this video with them immediately. Being a leader in your social circle means being the one who provides the real answers when everyone else is just guessing. But don't stop here, because this is only the beginning of mastering your understanding of human nature. If you're serious about leveling up your life and becoming a man who truly understands the hidden drivers of social and physical dynamics, you need to go deeper. We have prepared a complete breakdown of the essential psychological facts that most people will never know, and it's waiting for you right now. Click on the video on your screen to continue this journey. This isn't just more advice. It is a masterclass in the psychological cues, body language secrets, and biological triggers that dictate every interaction you have. You can choose to stay in the dark with the rest of the crowd, or you can click that next video and gain the edge that separates the average from the elite. The choice is yours, but the smart move is to keep watching and keep learning. See you in the next one.